Alrighty, hello YouTube, welcome to my channel. For those of you who don't know me, I am Cryptic Coil. In today's video, I'm gonna do another book haul. I got some new Fear Street books that I'm really excited about. Forgive me, forgive my voice. I'm still going through a flu, and man, this has been the worst flu of my life. I started to realize that there's like a 10-year cycle. When I was 16, I remember going through a flu that at that point was the worst flu of my life. Then 10 years later, when I was 26, I went through another one. And then here I am 10 years later at 36, and this one has been brutal. They're usually just a 1 or 2 day thing, but yeah, so if my voice is weak and if I'm like coughing, please forgive me. All right, so um, I want to kind of save the Fear Street ones for last though, but they are cool. First, let me share a book with you that I have a number of this author's books. Mary Downing Hahn. Uh, there's this book, The Old Willow Place, and I haven't read a single one of her books, but I always pick them up when I find them at thrift stores. And you have this like house out in the middle of the woods, and the house looks really old, a little bit run down, but still inhabitable. You got this like, lively girl, these two ghost children, and the tagline reads an empty house full of secrets. So let's go ahead and read the summary on back and see what we think. Diana and her little brother Georgie have been living in the woods behind the old Willis place, a decaying mansion for what seems like forever. A strict set of rules won't allow them to leave the property or even show themselves to anyone. But when a new caretaker and his young daughter, Lissa, come to live there, Diana is tempted to break the mysterious rules for the first time in hopes of making a new friend. She and Georgie learn quickly, though, that breaking the rules can have deadly consequences. Um, sounds intriguing. It does. She's got other books that I think I'd jump for first, but this would be among some of them. Okay, so I'm really excited about this one. So this is a Lois Duncan book, and it's called The Third Eye, and I've never even heard of this one actually. And so, and I love finding Lois Duncan books in these editions. Uh, so yeah, I'm just kind of over the moon about this one. So let's go ahead and read the tagline and the summary. Karen's terrifying gift may save an innocent child. Okay, sounds compelling already. He had dazzling blue eyes and a winning smile, and only Karen could give him the help he needed. The third eye. Karen doesn't want to see the things she does, but when she closes her eyes, the visions come. Through time and space, she sees a place where stolen children sleep. If Karen denies a young policeman's request for help, the children may never go home again. Wow. That sounds good. But, it's Lois Duncan, so what more can you expect? Okay, I'm also really excited about this one. I found, so far, the books that I've shown you, I've found at thrift stores. Okay, so I found this one, Caroline B. Cooney, Wanted. And I thought I already had it when I brought it home, but I was wrong. I have another book called Fatality, and it has a Corvette on the cover, and it has a red cover too. I was like, oh man, and then I looked closer. I was like, oh, they're different. Thank goodness. So there's no tagline on front, but that kind of looks like that Christopher Pike book, Road to Nowhere. Like, a pretty blonde in the driver's seat. Um, I just like to find the similarities in these things. Anyway, it all started with a phone call. In a tense voice, Alice's very rational father suggests that she drive his precious Corvette and meet him. But Alice doesn't have a driver's license. It doesn't matter, he yells. Yet he never shows up, never calls. Something is very wrong. Then Alice hears an announcement over the radio. Her father is dead, and someone has already confessed to his murder via email. That someone is Alice. Everyone, including her mother, believes that Alice is guilty. The police are after her, and the real murderer is too. It's only a matter of time before somebody catches her. As soon as the holidays are over, I'm going to have to get to this one. All right, look, most of you guys might know about this book. It's called Class Clown by Joanna Hurwitz, and you got this boy named Lucas, I believe, if memory serves correctly, walking through the class with books on his head, and there's his kind of rival, Cricket Kaufman. There was a sequel to this book. Lucas got, and the teacher was Mrs. Hockaday, 3rd grade. Doesn't mention anything about Cricket Kaufman on the back summary, but my father actually read this book to my brother and I before bed every night until he finished it for us. And then the next year in 3rd grade, we read it as a class. And we also did the sequel, Class President or something, which I believe I have as well, or at least I hope I do. If not, I'm going to have to hunt it down. But yeah, I just picked that up for nostalgia. I don't think I'm going to be rereading it. I wish I would have checked, but I found this also at a thrift store. It's a reprint of Goosebumps Night of the Living Dummy 3. So that's cool to have. Let's see, what else do I got? Oh yeah. I gave the last copy that I had, and it wasn't in the best of condition, of Where the Red Fern Grows, away to some chick. She really seemed to appreciate it, so whatever, it went to a good home. Then I found this one in better condition, so in the end, it all worked out. Blasted Cameron Chaney, okay, he likes to buy the Sweet Valley High books, especially the ones with the kind of horror twist or psycho thriller twist. And this one was called Tall, Dark, and Deadly. Now, I didn't grow up reading Sweet Valley High, but there was a TV show, and I caught it on occasion when I was a teenager. And so this just seemed kind of cool. It was kind of like Sweet Valley High with maybe a Fear Street twist. So I have that now, so it's cool. And I picked up this reprint of Goosebumps Beware the Snowman, and it's in pretty good condition. I mean, there's that little blunder right there, no big deal. So there, I'm almost there, almost ready. So I picked this up, and this is vintage horror at this point. And I feel like I know this name, Richard Peck. Are You in the House Alone? And again, there's kind of, a mansion in the middle of the woods. It looks a little spooky. Let's go ahead and read the summary on back. Gail can't escape the feeling that she's being watched. Gail Osborne is living the good life in suburban Connecticut until she finds an obscene note in her locker. Forget it, her friend Allison counsels, but Gail can't forget. Another note appears, and another. Then the phone calls start, and the horrible feeling that someone, somewhere, is watching her and waiting for the chance to strike. Yeah, I mean, plots like that, are always pretty intriguing, typically pretty well done as well. Okay, and the last book before I get into my Fear Streets, it's called Demon's Eye by Stephen Gresham. Stephen Gresham. So look at that. There's some step back art. Okay, that is freaky. That is freaky. Um, and the book is called Demon's Eye. It's a zebra horror. Let's read the tagline on front. Bloody horror awaited those in the glare of the demon's eye. Let's read the summary on back. Haunted hotel. They were three families who had long been friends: the Holmes, the Davenports, and the Bozicks. It seemed the best idea in the world to buy up the old broken down Black Winter's Inn and restore it to its former grandeur. But they hadn't counted on the effect the place would have on their children. Suddenly the kids were waking up wildly, or suddenly the kids were making up wildly improbable tales. They refused to admit to leaving antique toys lying around, and they acted scared of their own shadows. Ghostly guest. 13-year-old Kevin Holmes knew his parents weren't taking him seriously. Ever since the electrical accident, he had been acting weird, they said. If only they would listen to him, they'd sense the uninvited guest in their midst. They'd hear the shadows whispering of ancient evil, and they'd know that what lay in store for all of them was the bloody horror of the Demon's Eye. Yeah, so, I mean, that sounds pretty good. It does. And I'll just out of curiosity, I want to see what year this was published. 1989. Okay. Yeah, so I'll have to eventually get around to reading that for sure. All right. Fear Street Books. All right, so I already showed you guys this book a long time ago in another book haul that I did. I got this with a Fear Street book haul from long ago, and it was called The Dead Boyfriend, a Fear Street novel. Well, so you know how they have the original like 51 series Fear Streets, including like the Super Chillers, like the Cheerleader series and Party Summer and High Tide and all that. Then they have like the Fear Street Seniors, and then they have a new Fear Street. Well, they have this series called A Fear Street Novel, and I believe there's a total of 8, okay? And I don't know if this is a first edition or not. I want to check, but it's a hardcover. I mean, it's got a dust jacket, and I've had this for a while. And there's a reason why I'm showing this to you again, even if you haven't seen that first video that I'm talking about. That is first U.S. edition, September. Yeah, so I'm just going to go out on a limb here and say that, yeah, this is a first edition, and I'm very proud to own it. I really am. Okay? But, excuse me, I'm sorry about that, this flu. I found a bunch of these books at Barnes & Nobles. Okay, so they're 2-in-1. These are Fear Street Super Thriller Nightmares. And I have The Dead Boyfriend and Give Me a Kill. So 2 books in one. These are a Fear Street novel series, Fear Street books. Let me see. Yeah, a Fear Street novel. So I have this copy, but then I have it again in this paperback. And I have The Dead Boyfriend, Give Me a Kill. The summaries on back for both are really short, so let me go ahead and read them both for you. In The Dead Boyfriend, Caitlin has never had a real relationship before. So when she sees her boyfriend, Blade, with another girl, she completely loses it. As she regains her senses, she realizes that Blade is dead, and she has killed him. But if Blade is dead, how is he staring at her across a crowded party? Okay, that sounds pretty good. In Give Me a Kill, there is only one open slot on the cheerleading squad at Shadyside, and Gretchen Page must compete against the only girl who stands in her way, rich, spoiled Devra Dalby. The competition to join the squad is anything but friendly and ends in murder. With twice the scare. Okay, so the competition to join the squad is anything but friendly and ends in murder. Interesting. Yep, so, I mean, these Fear Street cheerleaders novels, man. Then I have Fear Street, The Lost Girl, and Can You Keep a Secret? And again, a Fear Street novel series books. So these summaries are short as well, so let me go ahead and read them off to you. In The Lost Girl, the new Lizzie Walker is the talk of Shadyside High. Michael finds himself drawn to her, but the closer he gets, the stranger she seems. Sounds a lot like The New Girl. Similar storyline, but The New Girl was R.L. Stein's first Fear Street book, and he's had a lot of practice since. So I'll bet you anything that this trumps The New Girl. Alright, so in Can You Keep a Secret? Eddie and Emmy leave on a camping trip with 4 friends in the Fear Street woods. When they discover something that could change their lives, should they tell their friends or face the consequences of their lie? And that sounds like kind of a recycled plot as well, but then again, that's not to say it's not going to be good. I'm sure it will be very good. And then lastly, Party Games and Don't Stay Up Late. And I love the fact that it's in a graveyard and there's a crow or a raven on the tombstone. I love it. So, and this is the last book, by the way. So let's read this summary on back. In Party Games, Rachel is thrilled to be invited to Brendan Fear's exclusive birthday party on Fear Island. Uh-oh, they're returning to Fear Island. When Rachel arrives at the island, a scavenger hunt turns up some horrifying surprises. Soon Rachel has to fight to survive the deadliest game of all, the game of murder. So it sounds like the most dangerous game with and Fear Street combined into one, so that sounds interesting. And Don't Stay Up Late, Lisa is plagued by nightmares and hallucinations after a horrible accident that landed her in the hospital for weeks. Lisa is happy to take a babysitting job to get her mind off the terrible events of the past, but then her friends begin dying one by one. Are Lisa's nightmares coming true? Sounds a little bit like a Witch by Christopher Pike, a little bit. So yeah, I'm really happy to have the complete A Fear Street novel series as part of my collection. I mean, they're not all first editions, like this copy of The Dead Boyfriend, but I'll take it, because some of these later Fear Street novels can be really hard to come by, and it was nice that they reprinted them and I was able to find them for a decent price at Barnes and Noble. So yeah, that's it. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this. I was really stoked to pick these up from thrift stores and Barnes and Noble. I think I did pretty well this time. All right, thank you guys for watching. Horns up. Peace out.